Heya! My name is Sarah, and today I'll be doing a book review on Library of Souls, third book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. That's always a mouthful. Non-spoilers. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I can understand why this was a good conclusion when it was still a trilogy, but now that we have more books to look forward to, I'm like, this was a good close to our first chapter, and I can't wait to start on the next adventures our team has to, discover. So this book takes place right after Hollow City, where Jacob, Emma, and the team are captured by the Whites, and they manage to escape, and Jacob has a hollow at the end. So in here we have to go, again, rescue the team and stop Cal and his evil minions from not only, enslaving all of Peculiar Kind, becoming the new kings, but also trying to stop them from opening up a loop that goes to somewhere so ancient and lost in time that we only thought it was a story. Oh, and by the way, to get there we have to go through the most dangerous, treacherous place in loops of all times. Yay! I will go along as long as I'm allowed to carry weapons. I did enjoy this book very much. It was just that there were some times where the characters, they frustrated me just a bit. And it was just the point where I wanted to tell them just, we get it, but let's skip that moment and hurry up. We have plans to do. And speaking of plans, let's make plans, because sometimes Jake, Emma, and whoever was with them would just sometimes rush into things, and that made me very frustrated. And there were some things that could have been avoided, but then again, Emma and Jacob were in charge of the team, so again, there were some decisions that I didn't agree with, and times where I just wanted to tell them to chill, calm down, let's see how things played out while they ran head first. And here's me being nitpicky, but there are times where there's too much wording on the description of places where I kind of zoned out just a little bit, trying to get back into the swing of things. And then there were times where I kind of got a little confused on what was going on, so I just let my imagination to continue on. But then again, that's just me being a little nitpicky, just me being myself. But all in all, it's still a good book. It was a great book for a trilogy conclusion. I'm just now looking forward to part 2 of our grand adventure. And with this being book 3, I can't really go that far into spoilers, so that's the end of my spoilers. 4 out of 5 stars. Bye, non-spoilers. Spoilers. Now, as I said, we literally take place right after most of the team got kidnapped by the Whites, and Emma and Jacob, along with the talking dog Addison, were separated, and Jacob has a hollow with him because he can now speak hollow, and his powers grow even more. Now, because we're in the present, Jacob is more, I guess, the leader, because he knows a little bit more about the present day than Emma and Addison, and they break some people's minds a little bit because we're trying to escape the Whites that are here in modern day. So they get on the subway, the underground in London, and there's some people, and they're in Addison. I love you so much, but please, dogs do not talk. I mean, he talks and people faint. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but we'll just leave you right here. You can wake up whenever you get the chance. Let's move on to the next cart. And it really doesn't help considering we have a talking dog, a girl, and a young boy dressed different time period, a little misshelved and everything. Well, we have modern day Whites all in the know and all, and they're chasing after them through London. But there's a certain event that's going on that the Whites also use to transport the other peculiar children that Emma and Jacob use to their advantage, along with Addison, as long as we don't lose him. There's a convention going on, and of course Emma has no clue what that is, so she thinks everyone's kind of like peculiars, but like, no, I'm with Jacob. They're in costumes. Why didn't they change clothes? I mean, yes, they were running for their lives and stuff, but that's a good question. If they wanted to blend in, I could have grabbed something and, changed. I'm pretty sure the Whites wouldn't be looking for, I don't know, let's say 2 Akatsuki members. I mean, that can really cover up a lot. With Addison having the nose of a master and all, he's able to track Miss Wren and the other peculiars to a location that the Whites were using to transport them, and apparently it's taken them to another loop. Well, we meet the person that's in charge of the boat slash ferry, and that name is Sharon. Oh, he's a good friend as long as you have a pocket full of cash. As I mentioned in my non-spoilers, I was really frustrated with the characters, especially with, at the time, Emma and Addison. I mean, they grew up, in the loops, in the world of Peculiars and everything, so they think that the Peculiars that, they need to come to the loops, be protected by Ybrins, live the life protecting everything. I was like, okay, we get that, but we're on the mission right now, so can you please keep that they're living the life that they want. And it even got a little more irritating when they met Sharon, because they're thinking he's a traitor and everything for working for the Whites because they paid him to take the Peculiars and the Ybrins to another loop and everything, so they're calling him a traitor. I was like, you need this man, right? Let's keep our opinions to ourselves and pay the man, because he's the only way to get to the loop that they went to. But thankfully, Jacob is the voice of reason. He talks to Sharon, and apparently Sharon does boat tours that I would love to sign up for. Just make sure my, insurance is paid up and everything, because he does interesting boat tours through loops that are questionable to our safety. And one being the loop that he takes them to is called the Devil's Acre. Apparently, back in time, that was like the worst time to live in during London. I mean, we don't have any clean water. We got possible muggings in every corner / murders. We have very shady people. It's not very sanitary. And there's like a whole bunch of bad going on. So we paid for the ride we got, so we're taking it. Thank you, Sharon, for bringing us into the Devil's Acre, which I actually do like. It shows a darker world to the previous books that we had seen, because everything more felt like lighthearted, more adventurous, and getting onto the mission. Well, this is supposed to play out as the Whites headquarters, so we knew it was going to be difficult to shoot. But the Devil's Acre, again, it's supposed to be like a banishment loop, so it's really, really dark in a way. So I kind of liked that change in tone. I was like, wow, we can do anything in this world. As for the Hollow that Jacob communicates with, he does talk with the Hollow, and it does it's starting to do what Jacob commands it to do. So we have this invisible man-eating creature that's starting to listen to Jacob's, because he's used it a couple of times, especially when they, are running from the Whites and the pirates that own the rivers in Devil's Acre. And I would like to dub the Bob the Hollow. I love Bob. I mean, I could easily see him in the subway when they're still in modern day attacking the White, and just like jumping to land onto the cab and just like hang on for his dear life. And when he was in the water in the Devil's Acre, just like swimming underneath the boat that Jacob and Emma, Addison, and Sharon were in, and just like listening to Jacob's commands and attacking everyone, it's like, I never knew this, but I grew attached to a Hollow. I named it, his name is Bob. Bob is best. I love Bob. So when Jacob had him attack a bridge and he was on there when it collapsed, I was like, Bob, no! How dare you kill off Bob? I was like, Bob, man. So with Sharon's boat all shot up and everything, and him starting to collect a tab for Jacob and Emma and Addison to pay for all the stuff that he's doing, because he basically says, don't trust anyone on Devil's Acre. And they're like, why should we trust you? He's like, as long as you pay me. So he knows some people, and he's gonna go, talk to them. Well, again, Addison and Emma, they're not the best people to bring on trips, both in the present and in the past, with their way of thinking about Peculiars. I mean, they're always arguing with Sharon, even though he's actually helping them in a place that could easily, double cross you. They're being loud, they're being noticeable. We're talking about a bunch of shady people that are apparently on a drug called Ambrosia that would happily turn them into the Whites, or we could have spies for the Whites, or people that could, grab them and use them for their own personal gains. And they're talking not only bad about Sharon and his way of being a Peculiar, but also about the Peculiars that are using their abilities to earn money in questionable manners. But I'm like, I get it. Y'all have a problem with this right now. But please, we are on a mission. Can you please just and we can talk about this behind closed doors, because I don't feel comfortable about being pointed out in a place that could possibly kill me, because y'all can't be quiet for 1 minute. As you can see, I was frustrated with my teammates. Jacob, you're the only voice of reason right now, even though you still make questionable decisions. There's one character that I thought was going to play an integral part because it felt like so much detail went into her, named Lorraine. But apparently she was just, I guess, a person to fill us in more about this world and about what the Whites are doing. Because she takes Emma and Jacob and Addison to her place where she does have some peculiars that, do some work. And she also tells Emma after a scuffle that, go to a certain location, that's where the Whites are, where you'll probably find your friends. So again, that just felt like, a little filler. And so again, I was a little disappointed because I thought Lorraine would play a very integral part in this book, but I guess not. And we find out we cannot replace Bob because we go to where the Whites are and there is no bridge and there's a hollow that acts as a levee system / guard dog, and because Jacob doesn't have full control over his powers yet, we get tossed around with a hollow's tongue, and it's like and we're like, oh my god, please drop us. But don't drop us in the acid river, drop us on the bridge where there's a bunch of talking heads mocking us for our decisions in life. And while they're being dumped on the other side with the heads and the other people that are waiting for the ambrosia to come, they're all laughing at them. Well, a truck of Whites, apparently with our healers that we're after to rescue, come by, and Jacob and Emma mess up on something, and so not only do the Whites take off on their vehicle with Addison hanging on the bumper and being lifted over the bridge with a hollow, but we get attacked by the crazy ambrosia people because we ruined their score. So of course, more bad decisions, because Jacob, trying to be the voice of reason, because he is trying to be the voice of reason, but there are times where he hesitates and he goes along with Emma, who really doesn't come up with a plan, who just goes head first without making plans, saying we must rescue everyone, let's go do this right now, without thinking, almost, dies if it wasn't for Sharon showing up, who they abandoned because they thought he wasn't trustworthy, because he told them to stay put. He told them to stay put, people, and they left. They met Lorraine, and then they got their doubts about Sharon and saw him coming out from a questionable place, and like, we cannot trust him. But you know what? Sharon came back to rescue y'all because y'all decided to do what he told y'all not to do. Y'all ran off, y'all met Lorraine, y'all got information, but didn't come with any backup, without any plan, and saw that there was no bridge, a hollow guarding it, and we have acid river water protecting the moat and everything of the evil castle layer of the Whites. And again, you can see how frustrated I got with the team, but don't worry, we go to a safe place that Sharon takes us and we regroup. Thankfully, we do come up with a plan, with steps, with people to aid, and we go for it after talk. I'm gonna need some rest, people. Jacob, you go rest. Emma, please get your priorities straight. I'll look out for Addison because apparently he went off to infiltrate the White's palace or whatever without any ways of communication or return to us. So I'm just gonna go sit, have a drink, chill, see what the future foretells for us. And while I'm just in the corner, just relaxing and thinking about my life choices, having a, Mexican Coca-Cola drink and everything. Well, Jacob recovered. Emma's with him, and the master of the house wants to see them, but we got an hour to kill, so without Sharon knowing, they go exploring. They find a room that, they find multiple rooms actually, but one room that actually takes them through a loop, which is interesting, in just Siberia. And they meet a person out there and get chased by a bear. Yeah, just leave me in the parlor. Let me have my soda and everything while y'all are being chased through a library or museum of creepy things, of creepy mannequins and everything by a bear. A grim bear to be specific, but a bear. Yeah, good work, people, good work. But then we also meet the master of the house, by, you know, maybe 30 minutes earlier than expected, and his name is, I believe it's pronounced Betham. And we meet JT, who is the Grim Bear, his, I guess you could say, companion, protector, and person that carries him around because he can't really walk that long. And he's like, don't worry, JT's a good bear, as long as y'all don't prove to be a threat. Jacob, Emma, y'all take care of that. I can't say anything because I've been over here enjoying a nice Coca-Cola. And it's so delicious. And here is where I find it a little interesting. It's a bit of like a monologue, and it takes like a bunch of pages, but I enjoyed it. It was actually like, you know, background to actually explain what happened all the way back then to how, you know, like the hollows and the whites came to be and everything. And it starts off because the house that we're in is called a Panlupticon. I'm pretty sure Betham could come up with a better name because that's a real mouthful. But apparently him and his brother decided, thinking, you know, all the loops are spread out and everything, and that's making it difficult for, you know, peculiars to travel. Well, why not come with a place that connects the loops and you can just walk through the doors and be, you know, without aging fast forward. So that was a really good idea. I had to say that was an interesting idea. Although we have a problem because the brother had an evil agenda. Apparently there's a place called Abaton, which is also known as Library of Souls, which literally has the souls of peculiars that passed away. And so basically back then you can go check out some souls, have them help around, but you had to return them. Well, some peculiars got a little too greedy and they tried to raid the library. Kind of succeeded, but the librarians got the souls back and everything, but it became known that you could attack the Abaton. So while there's that war going on back then, because this is all a story, people believe that Abaton, the Library of Souls, is a story. Well, it was real, and while that war was going on, we recorded it as the Clash of the Titans. Yay! But because Betham's brother believed it was so real, he managed to convince the followers that yes, we are destined to find Abaton and everything. And so it was through Betham that, you know, he tricked his brother after his brother betrayed him and everything, and that's what accidentally caused the hollows and the whites to be created. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise! His brother's name is Jack, but it's understandable that he changed his name because Jack is not really all menacing name. It's like being called Francis. Oh, Deadpool. So it's revealed that his brother is Cal, and he is the brother of Miss Peregrine. We don't have any good sibling relationships between these three, not so ever. Betham says that because Cal made a design of the Panlupticon inside the evil lair that all the whites are in, that so there's a possibility that one of the doors can work to get them over there. Only problem is that the house isn't working on the battery, so we need something to get it working. And Sharon comes in telling us wonderful news. We know where to get a battery source, and we need Jacob to get it, and we can power up the house and go rescue the team because it's been 48 hours and we have no clue what evil, bad, anything's been happening. Bob is alive! We need to go rescue Bob. Again, I became so attached to a hollow that I named him, and from this whole entire book, I was like, I don't care what happens, Bob must live. And while I was thinking about, why can't we, you know, somehow talk to the evil hollow that's guarding the place, the bridge, and use him and just let Bob live the rest of his natural life and everything, because I became so attached to this hollow so much. So I'm like, the plan is to go rescue Bob. And to strengthen my claim as to why Bob is precious and he must live out his natural life in peace and harmony is because we do go to the place where the people of the Devil's Acre took Bob for, you know, sport entertainment. And Jacob is now able to fully communicate with Bob because, you know, Bob was stuck in the ice with nothing to do, only with his thoughts, and Jacob spoke with him last book and everything, so they have more of a connection to each other, right? Well, Jacob and Bob are the perfect duo because he's sending out commands to Bob to make, because he has to fight him, to make it look very spectator sportsman like, while Emma gets the keys to so they can escape and everything from this evil place. And, you know, they are working together. There's a moment when Jacob loses touch and Bob is like, yes, I'm free, I'm gonna get you for making me do all those terrible things, and you cut my tongue, how dare you. But, you know, Jacob gets control over Bob and they trick the spectators and the owner of the club, and he's like, this hollow is mine. And Bob is like, ha ha ha, but he's so wounded. And they manage to get Bob along with, some little Grim Bear cubs. And Sharon's like, leave them, we can't. But Jacob has Bob free them. But you know what? This is why I became so attached to Bob. It's because he scooped up the Grim Bear cubs on his own accord, and they took a moment to breathe, and he was so tired that the cubs were like, we got you, man. They snuggled up with him, and Bob was like making sounds of like, oh, thank you. And they put him in a car because he was so wounded and tired, and they put the bears with him. They put the little cubs with him. I don't care what, Sharon said about saying you could put a tutu on the hollow or everything, it'll still try to eat you. No, Bob is different. Bob is different. Jacob agrees with me because he felt so terrible about using Bob as a power source and everything, and he was so concerned about his well-being, especially asking Betham if, will the hollow be hurt or anything. He's like, no, he'll just go to sleep and everything because we'll put some gas on and put him to sleep. And Bob, he was so scared. And Jacob just told him to go to sleep and to wake up until it's all over, and they got the house running. But I'm like, okay, your house is working and everything. We have enough blood supplies. Please let Bob go. So one of the doors does open up to the evil lair and everything. And while Emma and Jacob are trying to figure out where to find everyone, Sharon's on the other side getting ready to cause an ultimate level of distraction. And we do find some of the children, and they're not in good condition because we remember them. Melina and Joel and Peter, and some other kids, they're not doing so well because the whites are extracting their souls. And that's what creates ambrosia, and that's a form of cannibalism, as Emma would say. But we can't really rescue them right now because we still gotta find the Eberns and everyone else and try to stop the whites from finding a way to Abaton. So luckily, Sharon is on his part of the plan by having, the people that are surrounding the boiling evil moats throw stuff over, which, I will not get into detail, but they were very creative. And with the distraction going on and everything, Jacob and Emma managed to find the group. They're underground in tunnels and caves and everything, and the prison cell. And I thought they were joking about this part because we found out that through Addison in the beginning of the book that, when the whites had attacked the menagerie, they said Fiona fell off a cliff and, died. Well, I was the other people being optimistic. I thought for a second, no. The author would, write off a character's death now, would he? And I was expecting Fiona to be around. Except then Jacob looked and he said, except for poor Fiona, who died falling off a cliff while, with some whites. I'm like, he really did this. Ransom Riggs really wrote a character's death off screen? I was like, no, why? I was like, we found everyone alive and well, except for some people that are upstairs above us. But why? Why did you have to kill off Fiona? Why? Well, I was very distressed, people. I was very, very, very distressed. As you can see, why? Okay, Cal, we hear your voice in the other room. We're gonna go talk to you, but why? Yes, Cal is talking via communication and everything, and yes, we see the Eberns all bound and gagged in a room where there's a possible hungry hollow getting ready to attack. Well, Jacob tries to control it. That doesn't go as planned, and they both fall down the chute where there's 12 other hollows. And this is where Jacob's powers actually just blossom. I mean, they go full out because not only can he talk to the hollows now, he can control and see through them, which is like, Cal, you made that remark about them not having an army getting ready to attack you. Well, now we have 12 hollows at our disposal, so yay. Although the group is still a little frightened because, all those years of being hunted by hollows. Well, yeah, just let Jacob do his job because now he leads the charge, which I find very irresponsible of the Eberns because you're letting a 16-year-old lead y'all through guns, fires, hell's blazing glory, and yep, y'all are supposed to be old wise ladies that are supposed to be protecting all of us. Another frustrating part. Why would you let a 16-year-old lead y'all? Just because he has hollows doesn't mean he should be leading the charge. Oh, and the person holding up the rear is Perplexus, who apparently is still alive. Remember the guy who created the map of days and everything, who we all thought was long dead and gone? No, he's still alive, and he told Cal where to find Abaton. So, okay. But then again, it does look like they're actually making ground on pushing the whites back and everything, but they fall into a trap, as one would, into a room full of exploding parrots, because we did have an encounter previously with an exploding parrot, but we walk into a house full of them, and Jacob loses, the remaining members of his Hollow team. This is why we shouldn't follow a 16-year-old into battle, but we did, and we get easily recaptured. And while we get recaptured, we actually do become unrecaptured again, because, hello, Betham does show up with JT and with Jacob and his remaining Hollow, and the bear were going on, "Rawr! Defeat the whites, and everything, and the whites are running scared now. And all seemed grand and cheery, but then again, we had an awkward sibling moment with Miss Peregrine and Betham, and we still hold grudges because, okay, Betham was trying to tell her that, I understand the mistakes I made, but my punishment was a little too severe and everything. But Miss Peregrine was like, these are the rules and everything, but I will put in a good word for you to see if we can release you from your sentence. Well, even Sharon didn't see this one coming, because Betham, of course, betrays everyone, again, after being called a turncoat previously about what happened during World War II. And they recapture Miss Peregrine, recapturing the group, and now Betham is working with Cal to get you Abaton. Miss Peregrine, if you had said you're all cool with Betham and all would be forgiven, I'm pretty sure we could have avoided this altogether, but no. More sibling drama. And we find out that Cal needs Jacob alive because with his abilities, apparently he can not only see, but collect the souls that are in the Library of Souls. So, let's go back to one of the rooms upstairs that's working right now, and we go to Abaton. Yay! Being somewhere in a sacred place that's supposed to be hidden for so long, and you finally get there, something bad's about to happen. I mean, Jacob, you're from modern day. Have you not seen Indiana Jones? Something bad's about to happen, and it does. And while I'm on my soapbox with Betham having turned and everything, I'm like, free Miss Peregrine, but free Bob! You don't need Bob anymore. I am a broken record in this whole book after becoming attached to Bob. Free Bob! Your Loopticon is working right now. You don't need it working right now, but free Bob now. Back to Abaton. We find the Library of Souls, and of course, Cal needs Jacob to not only see, but read what they are, and only he can pick it up, because they try picking up a soul, but it falls through Cal's hands because, he's not like Jacob. He can't be a librarian. He can't check out books or souls in this matter. Even the guards and Betham are starting to get a little, they know something's weird going on here. I mean, everyone's outside, but they're inside along with Miss Peregrine and Emma, and they're like, something doesn't feel right. I think something is watching us. But then again, Cal, he's being Cal, and he's like, we must continue, we shall become kings, everything, we shall be remembered in all of Peculiar Kingdom. And we do figure out how to, work out how to obtain the souls, even though one soldier sacrifices himself, and he's like, oh, that's not how you work it. And the other guard's like, I'm watching these prisoners over here. Well, Cal does, again, figure out how to obtain the souls, and he literally hulks out, growing body and everything, becoming weird creature-esque thing. It has telepathic powers that was very confusing at first until Jacob says it's very telepathic, because, he starts tossing everyone around without even, touching them. And seeing the error of his ways, again, apparently Betham, because he accidentally came up with the introduction of how to make ambrosia through, souls and stuff, he pulls out a vial of ambrosia, and Jacob realizes it was his grandfather's. Prior to this, we found out that, Betham didn't know Jacob's grandpa Abe, and they tried to do an experiment to see if they could give, other peculiars the ability to see hollows. Well, that didn't work out so well for a long time. But he saved a piece of Jacob's grandfather's soul. He used it. He can now see the jars and everything and collect them. So while Jacob's like thinking, traitor and everything, again, Betham has a change of heart. Again, how many times does he have changes of heart? And he gives Miss Peregrine the formula to not only close the loop, but he grabs a jar of a soul to use to fight, you know, Cal, because he hulks out too. Yay, we're hulking out on everyone. And he fights Cal while everyone escapes, and the Ebrins with Miss Peregrine collapse the loop. This time we're gonna be more successful and not flatten half of the country like how they did with Siberia. And we are now running for our lives as the loop starts to collapse with a giant hulking creature of Cal who defeated Betham after us. So that's fun, including the fact that because we broke the door and the tower's now crumbling in the Devil's Acres, London. So the only way how to survive is by jumping on Olaf, who's going to slowly lower us down and have a bunch of birds trying to flap and keep us afloat. I would have stayed behind while everyone did this crazy rescue mission in Abaton. I'm like, you know, y'all go on ahead. I'm gonna be on the other side of this bridge, making sure, you know, more whites don't come after y'all and everything. I'm good. Oh, look, the bridge is falling down. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with y'all on that crazy mission. I didn't really want to see a place that we thought was very fictional actually being real. I'm good. I'll believe y'all's story on the accounts. Now, we only have like maybe about 30 pages or so less at the end of the book. And that's where Jacob comes up with the decision that he wants to go back home, try to fix up the mess I guess with his parents. He knows that's not going to go so well for quite some time. But, you know, he still misses his parents and everything. But he also thinks that, you know, when the time comes, like, you know, 18 and stuff, he can move to London or so. And he'd be closer to Emma because he still loves her and everything. So he's trying to think of a way to make things work. And it ends with, you know, Jacob, Miss Peregrine, and Emma after everything's settled and stuff in the Devil's Acre. He goes back to modern day London. He turns himself in and his parents show up, you know, all hysterical. Like, oh my god, Jacob, where have you been? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And Emma and Miss Peregrine say their goodbyes, but they also erase Jacob's parents' memories of them being there. So it's a weird month of Jacob back home, modern day America, pretending that everything, he came up with a story, a very convincing story, especially to a new therapist, about what happened. He was being extremely good, trying to gain his parents' trust again. They were starting to get calm, right? Everything's cool, it's understandable, and everything. I'm thinking, whew, we dodged that bullet, right? He's even doing secret messages to Emma via letters, which I thought was very interesting, but I was with Jacob. They should have done more internet, but you know, he said it was worth it. Until they find the letters. And they ambush him at the therapist's office with those letters. And they think, oh no, he's just gotten worse. Jacob, do we have a plan to get out of this? Because I'm ready to run, even though your uncles apparently have been waiting for you. And they're going to be acting as bodyguards to keep an eye on you until they have an opening at a clinic to enter you in. Jacob, please tell me you have a plan here. Please tell me you have a plan. And for a last-ditch effort, he does have a plan. He manages to send out an SOS via email that he didn't know if Emma can operate, but he sent it anyways. And we're like, okay, let's hurry up. And time is, you know, ticking down, and we have maybe, I don't know, 5 pages left with my heart going. And they're about to leave the house to go take Jacob because an opening has appeared in the darkness as they're pulling out, the headlights showing down the driveway. Miss Peregrine and the team are there to rescue Jacob, and the uncle's faint. The mom has a heart attack and probably a mental break of her own. The dad is in shock, thinking what he thought was a dream is actually, oh my god, was it real and everything. And Miss Peregrine is all chill, saying, oh, we are friends of Jacob. I knew your father. He was like a son to me. And it's like, oh, yay, the team is there. Even though the dad tried to run them over and Bronwyn just like stopped them with her bare hands. Like, yes, this is real. Thank you. I'm not insane very much. And while the mom is having a mental break and everything, I love the dad. Like, this is how much I now like the dad. My mom turned away. Frank, change the channel. I don't like this show. Okay, honey. My dad said, son, I think I better, Then he shut his eyes, shook his head, and rolled up the window. The dad was like, you know what? I'm just going along for the ride. I'll accept this. Let me just roll up this window, let you deal with everything. I'm going to deal with your mom in the car. Just, okay. The dad is like so chill at the moment that I'm like, oh, we have a parent on our side now. Oh, this is gonna be interesting, including the next book. I'm now wondering what the next books are gonna be like now that the parents know and everything. I'm pretty sure the dad's gonna be more chill than the mom. And we end off with a happy note because we found out that all those who went to Abaton, they can now come out of the loops and they will age forward, but you know, like a normal person. So we have time to get from anywhere that we want without the fear of now turning to dust with who knows how long for an expiration date. And now Jacob and Emma can now work on a actual relationship where they can actually go on nice little dates, spend time together, get, you know, just having chill and everything, and just grow up together. And I was like, yay, happy ending. Where's Bob? And that's the end of my spoilers. Again, I could see why this would have been a spectacular ending if it had stayed as a trilogy. I would have been satisfied for all time until the end of time. But with the 5th book coming out, I can't wait to start on the 4th book in the series to see how the Peculiars enjoy their lives in America. And I can't wait to actually see the loops that we have in America, because that will be so interesting. And knowing myself, I would like to go into those loops and mess around with some things, even though I know they'll start all over. But it's like, I can have my fun as much as I wish. I like the Devil's Acre. Again, it was a darker version of the Peculiar world that we never saw. So I was really surprised how Ransom went with that. So I enjoyed that turn of events. The bad guys, they slowly became, you know, mustache twirling evil villains that were duped by teenagers. So I was starting to feel a little insulted by my intelligence. And Bethlehem, I understand that you had some problems and stuff. You had some dark past, some dark secrets, including, you know, what you did with Abe and everything. But really, man, you're willing to sway back and forth and everything. That just shows how much of a complicated character that he is. I was like, really, you're gonna do this? But I like how it's written out. So I like the way how the character was written, but I was ready to like smack him on the back of the head. And I wanted to know what happened to JT at the end, because we don't know what happened to the Grim Bear at the end. We also know that his assistant is out on the loose, Kim, so maybe we'll see him in the upcoming books. I was frustrated with Emma and a little bit with Jacob, just going around with her ideas in like the first half of this book, because they were going in without a plan or anything, and they were just, it's good to have, you know, your own opinions, but we don't need to hear them right now. We are on a mission. We need to come up with a plan. People are depending on us. Let's not rush in, you know, head first. So again, I made my frustration pretty clear in this. They collected all the whites at the very end, but I'm pretty sure maybe some slipped through, so we could have more of the old enemies back in the new books, along with possible new enemies. That's very interesting. The next books are gonna be like a whole new terrain of the unknown, so I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to starting a new adventure and everything. And this book is a great launch pad from the first adventure to the next one. So I really like this book. The first book was good. The second book was, but this one, I really enjoyed it. But then again, it's a 4 stars because you could see my frustration with some of the characters and everything. And of course, you know, me being nitpicky about how everything was described, how it wasn't very well described, that had me in and out and confused a little bit. But that's just me being nitpicky. And again, my whole thing about this whole book: save Bob, free Bob. Bob isn't a threat anymore. Please let Bob be okay. In the next book, you have the Loopticon working. We really don't need to put Bob through so much suffering anymore. I mean, y'all are working it. Y'all are expanding the world of Peculiar. Everything's going good. We're going on adventures and everything. Y'all don't need Bob in there anymore. Do y'all? Please free Bob. Please free Bob. And yeah, Library of Souls, 3rd book, and the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. 4 out of 5 stars. My name is Sarah, and bye!